I am here in the hour before the markets open, not the markets you name with letters and numbers, though those are here too, flickering on screens in rooms you have never seen. I speak of the older market, the one that has existed since the first hand offered something to another, the market of attention, of trust, of value given and value received, the market that runs beneath every named exchange, every coin, every promise written on paper or sealed in a handshake. You stand beside me now at the edge of a vast square. The stones are cool, the sky is still the color of unstruck silver, the stalls are shuttered, the merchants sleep. But I have seen this square 1,000 years ago, and I will see it 1,000 years from now, and it is always the same. It is the place where humanity decides what things mean. Do not be deceived by the costumes. In one age the goods are salt, in another silk, in another digits moving faster than thought. But beneath every form, the same law. Value flows to the one who already carries the feeling of value. This is not a trick. It is the first law of the living world, written before language. Come, walk with me. The day has not begun, but in consciousness the day is already finished. I want to place you in a scene. You are not watching it. You are inside it. You have entered this square not as the one who hopes, not as the one who asks, but as the one who has already received. Feel your stride. It is unhurried. There is no tightness in your chest, no counting, no rehearsal of what you will say to convince anyone of your worth. You do not convince. You are, and because you are, the world arranges itself around you as water arranges itself around a stone that knows its place in the river. The air smells of cardamom and old wood. Somewhere a bird calls. The first shutters lift. A merchant sees you and nods, not because he knows your name, but because he recognizes something in you that commerce cannot name. You are not a buyer. You are not a seller. You are a steward of value, and the market has always honored stewards more than it honors beggars or thieves. Now let me tell you what I have watched for longer than your histories record. I have seen men and women arrive at this square with empty hands and leave with kingdoms. I have seen others bring chests of gold and depart in ruin. The difference was never in what they carried, it was in what they assumed. Assumption is the invisible coin. It is the only currency that never loses its value. When you assume that you are the one who is provided for, the one through whom resources flow cleanly and well, then every transaction, whether it involves a single coin or a vast holding, becomes an extension of that assumption. The outer world does not give you permission to feel wealthy. You feel wealthy, and the outer world reshapes itself to match the feeling. This is why the chase fails. The chase is an admission of absence. Every time you say, "I need this to come," you are also saying, "I do not have it." And the world, which is only a mirror, agrees with you beautifully. It shows you more need, more absence, more doors that close as you approach them. But when you turn, when you simply begin to live from the end, something else happens. The doors were never locked. You were only pressing on them from the wrong side. So let me walk you through the inner change now, step by step, because this is the work that makes every outer step easy. Begin with the body. The body is the first place where your assumption lives or dies. If you are wealthy, how do you breathe? Not the shallow breath of one who is waiting for a message that might save him. The deep, slow breath of one who is already safe. Breathe that way now. Let the breath reach the bottom of your lungs. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Wealth does not grip. Wealth rests. If you are wealthy, how do you speak? You do not speak of scarcity. You do not rehearse your problems to anyone who will listen. You speak as one who has already received, and your words carry that quiet certainty. Even in ordinary conversations, about dinner, about weather, about the news, your tone is the tone of a man or woman who sits above the storm, not in it. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is a mask for insecurity. This is sovereignty. It is the natural bearing of one who knows that supply is not limited, that value is not a pie to be divided, that the universe is not a thief. Now let me place you in the room where the real work is done. It is not a boardroom, it is not a bank, it is the room where you meet yourself each morning and each night, the room of inner conversation. What have you been saying to yourself about money, about value, about your right to have, to hold, to give, to grow? I have heard every version of this conversation across the centuries. I cannot until, if only I had. Others are allowed, but I am not. The system is rigged. I am too late. I am too early. I do not deserve. Each sentence is a small knife that cuts the cord between you and the thing you desire. And the terrible mercy of the world is that it lets you keep speaking this way. It will never interrupt your poverty of imagination. It will simply keep showing you the outer shape of what you have already agreed to inwardly. So we revise. Revision is not lying to yourself. Revision is remembering the truth before you learned the lie. Tonight, before sleep, take one scene from today that left the taste of lack in your mouth. A bill, a conversation, a number on a screen, a comparison you made against someone else. Hold it gently, as you would hold a child who has had a nightmare, and then rewrite it, not by forcing a happy ending, but by feeling the ending you would have chosen if you had already been the one you intend to be. See yourself in that scene as calm, see yourself as provided for, see the resource arriving, or see yourself already possessing it. Do not make it dramatic, make it natural, make it ordinary. The most powerful revision is the one that feels like Tuesday. Feel the relief in your chest. Feel the way your face relaxes. Feel the slight, almost imperceptible straightening of your spine. That is the state of the wish fulfilled. That is the state from which the world cannot withhold. And now in the morning, before the day has written anything upon you, return to this state. Do not wait for the world to give you a reason to feel wealthy. The reason follows the feeling. It never precedes it. I will tell you what I have seen in the long view. There are souls who, by the simple act of assuming their abundance, draw to themselves opportunities that their neighbors do not see. It is not luck. It is alignment. The opportunity was always there, but only the one who feels wealthy recognizes a wealthy opportunity. The one who feels poor sees only risk, cost, and closed doors. This is why two people can look at the same street and see different cities. One sees scarcity, competition, danger. The other sees flow, exchange, invitation. The street does not change. The consciousness changes, and consciousness seeker is the only thing you can actually govern. Let me speak now of stewardship, because assumption without stewardship is only dreaming. Wealth is not a feeling alone. It is a relationship. It is the way you meet what you have, whether that is much or little. The one who respects a single coin becomes worthy of 1,000. The one who scatters what they have in panic or resentment finds even abundance becomes dust in their hands. So practice this. Whatever comes to you, receive it cleanly. Do not clutch it in fear, and do not despise it as too small. Let it rest in your hand as a steward would hold a seed. A steward does not own the seed. A steward serves the seed until it becomes a field. If a small amount arrives, bless it. If a debt is paid, bless it. If an unexpected discount appears, bless it. These are not trivialities. These are the market responding to your new assumption. Do not meet the response with ingratitude. That is like training a dog with blows. Give also. Not foolishly, not to prove anything, but because a steward knows that value must move. Clenched fists cannot receive. The hand that gives is the hand that is open to receive. This is not morality, it is hydraulics. And as you move through the day, carry this question beneath your thoughts. What would the one who is already wealthy do right now? Would they panic at a number? No. Would they make a decision from desperation? No. Would they speak of their fears to everyone they met? No. Would they ignore a small opportunity because it did not look impressive? No. The wealthy self is not extravagant. The wealthy self is poised. The wealthy self knows that every outer condition is temporary and that the only permanent wealth is the ability to return to the feeling of supply. So when a bill arrives, pay it as an act of sovereignty, not as a victim. When an expense is larger than expected, meet it with the calm of one who has resources beyond the visible account. When someone asks you for help, give from fullness, not from resentment. This changes everything. The transaction is no longer a loss. It is a circulation, and circulation is the nature of wealth. Now let me take you deeper into the place where real wealth is held. It is not in any account. It is not in any property. It is not in any title. It is in your state. I have watched empires fall and take their golden roofs with them. I have watched the poor inherit the earth because they carried something the empires could not seize. I am not telling you to reject the world. I am telling you to stop worshipping its temporary forms. Build, yes. Invest, yes. Create, yes. But build from the end. Build as the one who already dwells in the completed house. Let every action be an expression of the state, not a petition for it. The world has no power to withhold what consciousness has already accepted. It can only delay the outer form while it catches up to the inner form. And the delay is not punishment. The delay is the time it takes for the old assumptions to finish echoing. So be patient in the outer realm and impatient only in the inner realm. Be ruthless with your own negative assumptions. Be gentle with the world's timing. If you find yourself waiting for a result, use the waiting as a test. Ask yourself, while I wait, what am I assuming? If you are assuming lack, you are lengthening the wait. If you are assuming fulfillment, you are shortening it. Sometimes the only thing that must change is the quality of your waiting. This is the hidden work. This is what no school teaches plainly, because it cannot be taught by words alone. It must be practiced in the silence of your own room, in the middle of the night, in the first moments of waking, in the small decisions no one sees. Let me give you a scene to carry with you. You are standing in the marketplace again, but now it is full. The sun is high. The square is alive with exchange. Everywhere you look, value is moving, hands passing goods, eyes meeting in trust, promises being kept. And you are not in the crowd, grasping. You are standing at the center of your own stall, but your stall is not small. It is the size of your consciousness, and on it you offer the one thing the world most needs, your own realized state. People come not because you beg them, but because they feel something in your presence. They feel that you are already provided for, and that feeling awakens in them the memory of their own provision. This is the true economy. Everything else is a reflection. You do not need to find your place in the market. You create your place by the assumption you hold, and the market, life itself, will reorganize to make room for you. So go now, not to chase, but to assume. When you wake tomorrow, before you remember your problems, remember your wealth. Say it inwardly, not as affirmation, but as recognition. I am provided for. Supply flows to me and through me. I am a steward of value, and value increases in my hands. Do not say it 100 times like a spell. Say it once, with feeling, then live from it. And when the old thought returns, I do not have enough, do not fight it. Simply say, that was the old story. The new story is already written. Then return to the feeling. The old story has no power unless you keep reading it. I have watched many lifetimes begin and end, and I tell you this with the certainty that only time gives. The outer world is the slower partner. It always follows. It cannot lead. So lead it from the end. Lead it from the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Lead it from the quiet knowledge that you are already the one you desire to be. And when the world finally shows you the money, the opportunity, the unexpected provision, do not be surprised. Do not fall to your knees in gratitude as though you had been rescued. Simply nod. The market has simply caught up with what you already assumed. This is sovereignty. This is the hidden path. This is how a single soul, seemingly without advantage, becomes a center around which abundance circulates. I leave you now in the marketplace. The sun is warm.